What up, everybody? It's your boy Bush. About to get into some might say politics. I don't know, but a lot of things got to change. Meek Mill came out recently. He was pissed off about some stuff, so we're gonna really analyze it and see why he was so pissed off. You feel me? It's a lot of things going on. A lot of things need to change, so we do got to speak on things and not let it go past us. So check this video out. Hold on, I'll be right back. Let me see something though. Check this shit out, though. This is crazy. This
In
is why
Texas, a black man gets 70 years for spitting on cops. Is this justice? Tell you more. Texas man, Larry Pearson is his name, reportedly sentenced to 70 years in prison for spitting at Lubbock police officers during an arrest last May. There's Mr. Pearson. Cops picked him up on domestic violence charges.
Gave him 70 years.
Hit a woman several times in the face, leaving her with, quote, multiple visible injuries. That's according to everythinglubbock.com. Pearson allegedly got angry when officers didn't arrest the victim and started kicking the door of the police cruiser. When two cops opened the door to demand he stop, Pearson spat at them and kept doing so even after he got to the Lubbock County Detention Center. Again, according to the website. And during the trial's closing argument, prosecutor Jessica Gorman asked the jury to, quote, send a message to both the suspect and society with its sentencing. Pearson had prior convictions for aggravated robbery and family violence. Gorman referenced that. As a result, he faced a minimum sentence of 25 years. This is what the prosecutor's arguing.
Okay, send a message.
Jurors indeed later found him guilty of 2 counts of harassment of a public servant. Okay, so let's put this in perspective. Remember what I said? 2 counts of harassment of a public servant.
Oh, she working with them people.
Jim Shaw, Pearson's defense attorney, told jurors that the sentencing was for a simple misdemeanor that got out of control. Various outlets have picked up on the story. Fox News, TMZ, Chicago Defender. Let's show you the headlines. It depends on who you're aligned with, what your headline looks like. Okay, and there you see it. Man gets 70 years for spitting at cops.
It's your boy Bush.
A black man gets 70 years.
Y'all heard Meek Mill came out recently. He was pissed off about a man getting 70 years for allegedly spitting on the cops. Here go the thing before we get into it, and then we gotta talk about this other judge. You know, Bootsy tweeted about who's unfairly sentencing black men left and right. These motherfuckers, they the ones that deserve to be left in the can for a substantial amount of years because they don't understand what they really doing. And they playing the game of politics, or some of them doing it for money. Some of them do it because they just racist pieces of shit. And some of them are, you know, thinking they doing the right thing. But check this out. We talk about, what's his name, man? 70 years for spitting on them pigs.
Years for spitting on cops. Is this justice? Tell you more. Texas man, Larry Pearson is his name, reportedly sentenced to 70 years in prison for spitting at Lubbock police officers during an arrest last May. There's Mr. Pearson. Cops.
No, she said spitting at them, not spitting on them. He probably didn't even
picked him up on domestic violence charges after he allegedly hit a woman several times in the face, leaving her with, quote, multiple visible injuries. That's according to everythinglubbock.com.
He need to be sentenced for that.
Pearson allegedly got angry when officers didn't arrest the victim and started kicking the door of the police cruiser. When 2 cops opened the door to demand he stop, Pearson spat at them and kept doing so even after he got to the Lubbock County Detention Center. Again, according to the website. And during the trial's closing arguments, prosecutor Jessica Gorman asked the jury to, quote, send a message to both the suspect and society with its sentencing. Pearson had prior convictions for aggravated robbery and family violence. Gorman referenced that. As a result, he faced a minimum sentence of 25 years. This is what the prosecutor's arguing. Jurors indeed later found him guilty of 2 counts of harassment of a public servant. Okay, so let's put this in perspective. Remember what I said? 2 counts of harassment of a public servant. Jim Shaw, Pearson's defense attorney, told jurors that the sentencing was for a simple misdemeanor that got out of control. Various outlets have picked up on the story. Fox News, TMZ, Chicago Defender. Let's show you the headlines. It depends on who you're aligned with, what your headline looks like. Okay, and there you see it. Man gets 70 years for spitting at cops. But Fox says Texas man who spit at police sees life of crime crumble, slapped with 70 years in prison to send a message. Now, who wrote that Fox headline? You know that's not a good headline. It's so convoluted. There's too much in there. It's a compound. That's not how headlines are. That's not how they work best. But this case has garnered much attention. Rapper Meek Mill's weighing in on it, commenting on the story publicly. There's Meek's tweet. No, this action level. Ain't no way they can give us that much time for a misdemeanor like spitting. I don't care.
That's a fact.
What they gonna try to say his record is? No regard for black life in that courtroom. I guess, like I said, Benny, spitting is gross. Okay.
Damn, she look high. Is she high like me? She look like she high reporting. I just missed the important call, but it's all good. Yo, is she high like me on that? Yeah, I heard about that. Sorry, the white boys got less time for murder, but than this kid. That's, that happens all the time. We gonna get into that shit that Bootsy tweeted. But
it's disgusting. I only had it happen one time. Babysitting some kids. We were at the playground. A group of older kids who just worked no good. Well, they spat on my new Jordache jeans. Am I dating myself? They made a comeback, didn't they? And I was furious. And I took care of it. And I'm going to leave it at that because I don't know what the statute of limitations is. But 70 years for a misdemeanor and a prosecutor who is in the courtroom arguing, begging the jury to do more. I'm not saying this person.
Are y'all really surprised about this though? Let's be honest here. You gotta watch. See, the judges think they God and they got the power of God. Fam, there's people. What do you say? Fam, there's people in Texas facing less time for multiple murders, and in Louisiana and in certain places and that's the point that we getting at tonight is the power that these judges hold in their hand. Perfect example of the fuck shit. You feel me? I want to hear this shit one more time. Sorry, y'all, but wait. All right, let me go back to the beginning. I just want to hear this.
Is this justice? Tell you more. Texas man Larry Pearson is his name. Reportedly sentenced to 70 years in prison for spitting at Lubbock police officers during an arrest last May. There's Mr. Pearson. Cops picked him up on domestic violence charges after he allegedly hit a woman several times in the face, leaving her with, quote, multiple visible injuries. That's according to everythinglubbock.com. Pearson allegedly got angry when officers didn't arrest the victim.
But see, it's racism, yes, but let's think about it here. He spit on some police. He got some people mad. He got the wrong people mad. Or he tried to spit on these bastards or whatever the hell else. But guess what? What happens with the politic game? These officers, they got relationships with who knows what, probably all the judges, whoever in the county that he's in. They know everybody. They party at the same places. You got to realize that, especially as this gang culture get bigger and shit like that, these people, they become closer. So they start dwelling in the same areas, chilling, partying amongst each other. And guess what happens? They got connections now. So if a cop is mad at somebody, he could let this judge know, oh, you represent this? Fuck that motherfucker. Get him out of here type of shit. Or even some payola could come into play to where it's like, yo, you do this and you looking better with us. We got money because we dirty ass cops. We getting money all kind of ways. We'll cut you in on it. Shit like that goes down. We can't. The thing people do is underestimate human beings all the time. We think because he's a cop or they a judge, this type of shit don't happen. But look, what's going on right here? There's obviously some bullshit going on. There's no doubt about it. The judge cannot justify giving this man 70 years. I don't care. He might be a coward. He hitting on women. I don't fuck with him at all. But at the same time, no man should get 70 years for trying to spit on a goddamn cop. You feel me?
And started kicking the door of the police cruiser. When two cops opened the door to demand he stop, Pearson spat at them and kept doing so even after he got to the Lubbock County Detention Center. Again, according to the website. And during the trial's closing arguments, prosecutor Jessica Gorman asked the jury to, quote, send a message to both the suspect and society with its sentencing. Pearson had prior convictions for aggravated robbery and family violence. Foreman referenced that. As a result, he faced a minimum sentence of 25 years. This is what the prosecutor's arguing. Jurors indeed later found him guilty of 2 counts of harassment of a public servant. Okay, so let's put this in perspective. Remember what I said? 2 counts of harassment of a public servant.
Okay, that's nothing. That's light.
Jim Shaw,
even though his
Pearson's
record,
defense attorney, told jurors that the sentencing was for a simple misdemeanor that got out of control. Various outlets have picked up on the story. Fox News, TMZ, Chicago Defender. Let's show you the headlines. It depends on who you're aligned with, what your headline looks like. Okay, and there you see it. Man gets 70 years for spitting at cops. But Fox says Texas man who spit at police sees life of crime crumble.
Man, we all know that Fox is on some bullshit. Everybody knows Fox. You know, Fox is the worst of the worst. Just political, you know, and it should be really, these laws should really be readjusted, because any publication that's as big as Fox that's so biased should be fucking held accountable for they fuck shit. They so biased, like, there's no way there would be on that man's side. He got 70 years for allegedly spitting at the cops. You feel me? Now imagine any other white kid, any other race basically than the black man in America, but doing some shit like that. He might not even see the jail cell. He might get a ticket. But this dude, because of his little record, which I'm going to say again, I don't agree with hitting the women or whatever, the bullshit he was accused of. You know, he might be a fuckboy. He look like he is, tell you the truth. But ain't no way he need to get that 70 years for spitting at a cop. Like, this is why Meek Mill is mad, because, you know, it shows you, like, this could never happen with any other race. So it shows you how they respect us, how they care about us, or whatever else they don't, obviously.
Slapped with 70 years in prison to send a message. Now, who wrote that Fox headline? You know that's not a good headline. It's so convoluted. There's too much in there. It's a compound. That's not how headlines.
I like how she reported it though. I like her. She kind of smart. I fucks with her. Okay, let me see what the rumor report says.
It's about time.
Airport fight and for a reckless driving arrest in New York City. Both cases were dropped,
right,
but the judge said that the arrests alone were violations and gave him 2 to 4 years in prison.
I thought it was a failed drug test as well.
No, that was old. That was.
Hold on, let me go back.
He was going to court.
About time. What's going on?
Rumor report.
This is the Rumor Report with Angela Yee on the Breakfast Club.
Well, Meek Mill is back in prison for a minimum of 2 years, and that's for violating probation. He was in court yesterday. We told you he...
My bad, y'all. I'm tripping. That's old as fuck. I want to see why he's, you know... Okay. This is all that's on. There's got to be more about this. Let me see this. Boosie made a tweet. I'm interested in this judge. Because this judge is a foul. He one of them foul ones that's out there. And I hope he get exposed, and I hope he get what he got coming to him, because this motherfucker is just... He's sentencing the white man this, and he giving the black man all this for the same shit. So people like that, that's the bottom of the barrel. That's the worst type of people. We're going to put his name out there, too. He's a scumbag for real.
36-year-old Larry Pearson today. He was found guilty on 2 counts of harassment of a public servant for spitting at the officers. Pearson was arrested in May 2022 for a domestic violence incident. As he was being taken to jail, Pearson started kicking the doors of the office.
Me, I'm never going to spit on no officers. I'm never going to do none of that unless it's my life on the line type of shit. Like, I'll never do no dickhead shit like that. But at the same time, anybody who do decide to do that, realize there's going to be consequences. But the consequences, 70 years, that should never be that's your life. That's the rest of your life. That's like you murdered somebody. So that's fucked up.
Officer's vehicle. When an officer opened the door to tell him to stop, Pearson spit at both of them and continued spitting at them until he got to jail. Pearson also had prior convictions of aggravated robbery and continuous family violence. Due to those convictions, the minimum sentence Pearson could have received.
He looked like a scumbag, you know. He looked like the type to beat up a girl and do all the whatever foul shit you could think of. But at the same time, 70 years, he didn't take nobody's life. You feel me? He didn't kill nobody.
Would have been 25 years. 36-year-old Larry Pearson today, he was found guilty.
He never killed anybody, and he ends up getting 70 years. I like this dude. Let me hear what he got to say real quick.
All right, I'm going to tell you about two cases in Texas that show you how absolutely pathetic the justice system there is.
Preach!
A brother, a black man, has been sentenced to 70 years in prison for spitting at police officers while he was being arrested. Larry Pearson was arrested in
Notice
May
everybody
of
says
last year
axe.
for domestic violence after a female victim flagged down an officer in northeast Lubbock and stated that Pearson punched her in the face several times. Now, according to police, Pearson was arrested and continued to kick and spit at the officers even after being detained at the Lubbock County Detention Center. Pearson was convicted on 2 counts of harassing a public servant. Due to his prior convictions of aggravated robbery and continuous family violence, the minimum sentence he could receive would have been 25 years. But the prosecutor asked the jury to consider a sentence that would, quote, send a message to Pearson and society. His defense lawyer, Jim Shaw, argued to the jury that the harassment of a public servant was a single misdemeanor that got out of control. Okay? So that's that particular case. So now let's talk about this other case, okay, out of Texas as well. All right? White man on trial, goes on trial for killing a Black Lives Matter protester. Daniel Perry.
That's why I like him. He always come with this shit. I like him.
Uber driver was convicted of killing Garrett Foster, a white Black Lives Matter protester. Now, jury goes to the jury finds him guilty. Now, newly released unsealed documents that were not allowed in the trial show Perry, who's convicted of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, talking about his intentions of actually harming protesters. He said on social media he was going to kill protesters.
And what he get? What he get? What he get though? How much time he get?
Views, said point blank, I'm a racist. Now, in reaction to the documents being released, Perry's legal team filed a motion seeking a new trial. Now, here's what's interesting. So the folks on the right took this as a cause célèbre.
Okay.
Tucker Carlson goes on Fox News and demands that Texas Governor Greg Abbott pardon him. Now, the governor of Texas doesn't have the pardon power. He can recommend to the Pardon and Paroles Board. Well, Greg Abbott sent this tweet out. Show it, y'all.
Let me
He
see.
actually said, I'm seeking the pardon. With a tweet?
Yeah, but how much time did he get?
Well, he literally said, I'm going to pardon this guy. He said that Texas has a strong stand your ground law. That's what he said, a strong stand your ground law. And he was going to stand up for this guy. That's interesting. Because he now, with the tweets, now information being released, now we discover that, matter of fact, here's the statement. Greg Abbott, let's see here, let me go ahead and show it to y'all. I have it on my iPad, give me 1 second.
It's amazing. We could report on it. I'm glad we are, and a lot of us is recognizing it. And it's the sad part is we not surprised. We definitely not surprised by this shit, you know. And we understand that these motherfuckers still hate us for some reason. These people in the courts and all that, they hate us, and they'll throw us under for whatever.
I just want y'all to understand when the racists all stand together. Here it is. Texas has one of the strongest stand your ground laws of self-defense that cannot be nullified by a jury or progressive district attorney. First of all, the jury can reject any Let me say it again. A jury can actually reject the defense. It happens in Florida cases. He says, unlike the president or some other states, the Texas Constitution limits the governor's pardon authority to only act on a recommendation by the Board of Pardons and Paroles. Texas law does allow the governor to request the Board of Pardons and Paroles to determine if a person should be granted a pardon. I made that request and instructed the board to expedite it. Okay. That's Greg Abbott. All right. No word from Greg Abbott or Tucker Carlson. Now that we know that Daniel Perry has said he was going to kill
GD Network. GD Network, my bad.
No word from any of them about Daniel Perry saying, oh, I'm a racist. No word from any of them with all the other comments that he made. Not a word. See, this is what happens when you jump on that bandwagon and you find out who you defended. Now it seems like they're trying to all run for cover. But see, we haven't forgotten how hardcore they jumped on this.
Meek Mill, I got to give him his flowers. I didn't like some of his decisions in the past or whatever. It don't matter. It's just stupid shit. You know, he's a star, so you're going to fall victim. If you're a star, you're going to fall victim to the scrutiny of the people. But guess what, man? I like that he's speaking out about this because, you know, he don't have to. And the person, you know, where he's at, he don't really have to do that. But I love it. You feel me? It's showing that he's involved in what's going on in the community. He's really trying to, you know, put his 2 cents in. Because we all got 2 cents, but we don't be using it all the time. Especially, you know, these black celebrities, they want to play the game of, I don't want to ruffle no feathers. They want to play it safe. I get it, you know, but I do commend the guys that want to put themselves out there on the strength of a cause and pushing forward. So, yeah, I do commend Meek Mill. We're going to go into his tweet. He was outraged about when he heard about the verdict. So we'll go into his tweet and see what he actually said. Is he?
All right, back to that unfiltered video in just one moment. When you talk about blackness,
I liked his channel too. So shout out to Roland S. Martin. He be doing his thing. I ain't gonna lie. Hold on, let me see. I want to see Meek Mill tweet and see what points he made. See, when you're that stature, just a tweet alone, they gonna take it and run with it. But where is it though? Meek Mill. And you gotta respect anybody on that level that's speaking on these type of situations, that's really going in on these situations, you know what I mean? You really gotta respect that. Maybe I gotta get out of YouTube to find this shit. Oh shit, hold up. Go to Google. Cause he the one that put the light on this whole situation though. Meek Mill tweet. And then Bootsy today, he put out a Instagram about this foul ass judge, man. I'm gonna get into his whole shit. He put out a damn Instagram. He's a piece of shit. About this judge. This judge is a piece of shit. Hold on, where the Meek Mill tweet at? Man, I'm just. No, this is not where I want to be. Let me see. Bootsy, the shit Bootsy was talking about though. What's that judge's name? Hold up. This shit is getting too real, man. The way that it's just blatant in your face racistness. And some people gonna say, oh nah, he was getting money, that's why he sent this dude for that. Some people persuade him it's political. But it's the bottom line that when you trace it all the way back, it go all the way back to some racist shit. And that's just a fact, man. I've been watching Lord Jamal podcast too earlier. It all the way go back to some racist shit, man. It's really do. I'm about to get this lawyer's name. I mean, this judge's name that's representing
36-year-old Larry
people.
Pearson
Well,
today.
hold on.
He was found guilty on 2 counts of harassment of a public servant for spitting at the officers. Pearson was arrested in May 2022 for a domestic violence incident. As he was being taken to jail, Pearson started kicking the doors of the officer's vehicle. When an officer opened the door to tell him to stop, Pearson spit at both of them and continued spitting at them until he got to jail. Pearson also had prior convictions of aggravated robbery and continuous family violence. Due to those convictions, the minimum sentence Pearson could have received would have been 25 years. 36-year-old Larry Pearson today.
Their excuse, what they're going to say about that situation, the prosecutors, everybody, they're going to say that this man is a violent criminal. He's not being sentenced to this because of this. He's getting sentenced because of this. But the bottom line is this man ain't killed nobody. He didn't kill nobody. So there's no reason why he should be getting more than 25 years. 25 years is fucked up for him to get for his charges. But they doubled that, then they tripled that. And you know why? It's a set example. Texas don't like.
He's found guilty on 2
Texas
counts
wanted to
of
set
harassment
that
of a public
example.
servant for spitting at the officers.
Let y'all
Pearson
know,
was
don't
arrested
fuck around
in
out
May
here.
2022 for a domestic violence incident. As he was being taken to jail, Pearson started kicking the doors of the officer's vehicle. When an officer opened the door to tell him to stop, Pearson spit at both of them and continued spitting at them until he got to jail. Pearson also had prior convictions.
To tell you the truth, they should have kept it the old-fashioned way, gave him an old-fashioned beat down. Because the way they moving, it's like, god damn.
Aggravated robbery and continuous family violence. Due to those convictions, the minimum sentence Pearson could have received would have been 25 years. 36-year-old Larry Pearson today. He was found guilty on 2 counts of harassment of a public servant for spitting at the officers. Pearson was arrested in May 2022 for a domestic violence incident. As he was being taken to jail, Pearson started kicking the doors of the officer's vehicle. When an officer opened the door to tell him to stop,
This the type
Pearson
of
spit
nigga
at
that
both
I
of
would
them
love to be
and
locked up
continued
with.
spitting at them until he got to jail. Pearson also had prior
'Cause we gonna
convictions of
find a way to
aggravated
get him.
robbery and continuous family violence. Due to those convictions, the minimum sentence Pearson could have received would have been 25 years.
No, bring that out. Let's go into this shit now. I know he gonna hopefully, you know, with people speaking out and money behind it. We gotta get that man should not be in jail for the rest of his life for what he did. He didn't take nobody's life. He's still young. He's gonna, you know, he gonna change. There's no reason why this man should be sitting in jail for 75 years for some bullshit. But I found some shit, and I like when it's a white boy speaking on it. I like that. So let's watch that. Hold on. Let me go back.
We're going to go over 3 different sentences that
I like
Elmore
this.
County Judge Sibley Reynolds in Alabama gave to these 3 different people. The first is David Michael Carr. He was 20 years old. He beat his girlfriend's 3-year-old to death. Judge Sibley Reynolds gave him 15 years in 1 day.
Look at this fucking
20-year-old
judge.
Wesley Phelps, he was on parole. He had warrants. He stole a car, and when the police got behind him, he put them on a chase. He crashed his car. His girlfriend died in that crash. Judge Sibley Reynolds sentenced Wesley Phelps to 3 years. On that same day, just after sentencing Wesley Phelps to 3 years, Judge Sibley Reynolds heard Lakeith Smith's case. Lakeith was 15 years old. Lakeith had never been in trouble before.
15.
He was the youngest of his group of friends, and they were going into unoccupied homes during the day and stealing video games. That's when the police came in. Mark Ritter and AJ Renfro shot and killed one of the boys as they were running away at Dante, Washington. Lakeith is now 24 years old. He spent the last 8+ years in maximum security prisons with society's most harmful and dangerous people, yet Lakeith has never been harmful. He's never been dangerous.
Oh my God, I never wanted to whoop somebody's ass so bad. I want to grab him by his little fucking face. Look at this fucking judge. I want to fucking, the hate for this shit. You hate us, I really hate him. Look at this motherfucker, Judge Sibley Reynolds. Oh my God. That's what we got to deal with in America. people like him getting the job to be able to judge another man and send him to jail forever. Not even a man. This is a kid. He's a kid. These two dudes are men, grown men. And he gets the right to send them to jail forever. I want to see this again.
3 different sentences that Elmore County Judge Sibley Reynolds in Alabama gave to these 3 different people. The first is David Michael Carr. He was 20 years old. He beat his girlfriend's 3-year-old to death. Judge Sibley Reynolds gave him 15 years in 1 day.
He beat a 3-year-old.
Wesley Phelps. He was on parole. He had warrants. He stole a car, and when the police got behind him, he put them on a chase. He crashed his car. His girlfriend died in that crash. Judge Sibley Reynolds sentenced Wesley Phelps to 3 years. On that same day, just after sentencing Wesley Phelps to 3 years, Judge Sibley Reynolds heard Lakeith Smith's case. Lakeith was 15 years old. Lakeith had never been in trouble before. He was the youngest of his group of friends, and they were going into unoccupied homes during the day and stealing video games. That's when the police came in. Mark Ritter and AJ Renfro shot and killed one of the boys as they were running away at Donkey, Washington.
God.
Lakeith is now 24 years old.
His boy got killed for running stealing video games in somebody's house. The boy got killed, and then he gets sentenced to 65 years. Like, the man gets 70 years. Like, that's why I understand why they say about this prison system is the new slavery system. Because when certain people, Judge Sibley Reynolds and whatever judge gave that man that 70-something years, when they see us in the court, they don't see a man. They don't see a human being. They don't see that. This scumbag here, this little piece of shit, he looked like he looked like somebody. I can't think of who he looked like, but he's an ugly motherfucker though. I'll tell you that much. Gotta be miserable. His hair, the hair thing looked like a hairpiece. Miserable piece of shit. Judge Sibley Reynolds. It's like, why is he still alive? Tell you the truth. You send a 15-year-old boy to prison for 65 years. You a 16-year-old boy that never murder nobody, didn't kill nobody, to prison for 65 years. But yet you send a 20-year-old man who looked like a psycho killer, who looked like a sick bastard. You send him away for what? Well, how much time you get? 15 years? God damn, the game is fucked up. This shit is almost depressing. I ain't gonna lie. And you know, we're not really surprised, but at the same time, you're amazed that these dudes still. He was probably still working. I don't know if he is now. We're gonna do the research on that. Is Judge Sibley Reynolds still working? Does he still got that power? Is he still behind that bench judging people? Let me see, cause any black man, he gotta be out of there. Cause any black man know Sibley Reynolds 30 years as a judge. It's a piece of shit. Look at this ugly motherfucker here. Y'all can't see him. I'll bring his picture up. Judge Sibley Reynolds will retire as a 19th Circuit Seat 3 judge on January 15th after 5 consecutive terms. Wait, are they talking about recently? No, this was in 2022. A reception to celebrate Reynolds' retirement and 30-year career will be held at 4 p.m. on December 28th at the Clanton Convention and Performing Arts Center. Here go Judge. I am the longest serving circuit judge in the state. So he's the longest serving judge in the state. Wow. Reynolds said. He began as a judge in 93 and he has run unopposed each time. He's a grunt, he's a foul motherfucker, he's a dirty dude. He got them people working for him. He been unopposed each time. Prior to becoming a judge, Reynolds was an attorney with his father, Morgan Reynolds, and Reynolds Law Firm. Wouldn't be surprised if somebody in this family did Reynolds rap and they all rich as fuck and very powerful. So that's why he's able to do the fuck shit that he do. The little, oh my God. There had been some talk about adding a third judgeship, and he kind of suggested, why don't you try for that? Reynolds said, the most attractive thing about it is the retirement. Yeah, I bet. Because this whole time he's been under fire, under heat. But because of his political power, he was able to keep it steady, keep it solid. He said the most challenging thing about being a circuit judge is having to be faced with separating families and divorce and child custody cases. Yeah, you wouldn't give a fuck about like black child custody cases, obviously, because you sent that little boy 15 years old to prison for 65 years. There's no explanation for that. You are a fucking devil. The circuit court also handles child visitation, child support, dividing property, car wrecks, landline disputes, and criminal cases. We are the highest level of court where you can have a jury in the state, Reynolds said. Now the state, you know, is Texas. So, yeah. He has also been on call at all hours for signing warrants. Over his career, Reynolds had seen a lot of changes, including the addition of sentencing guidelines for judges to follow. Now, you think he didn't have nothing to do with these sentencing guidelines? He's happy about these sentencing guidelines. He the one that he's enforcing these things. He made this shit happen. He the reason, you know, he behind it, obviously. So he was real happy about the sentencing guidelines. While serving as judge, Reynolds was named to the, Chilton County Healthcare Authority Board. So he was on all kind of boards. When the objective became bringing a new hospital to the county, I somewhat became the face of the hospital board. He was the face of the hospital board. He had power because he had money. He was also recognized with the Alabama State Bar Association 2021 Judicial Award. During his retirement, Reynolds plans on enjoying some traveling, likely to the War Memorial in Hawaii, Normandy, Crazy Horse, So he had a great life. And he retired safely, happily. He didn't face no consequences for his unfair treatment of human beings. He didn't deal with none of that until he got out of there. Now that he's out of there with people that's becoming aware and the information and being more accessible, we find that this motherfucker was a grimy, foul dude the whole time. Cutthroat committee. Man. So yeah, man, we speaking on it. That's that boy, Judge Sibley Reynolds. Free at last. Retired. If he sent this little boy, 15 years old, to prison for 65 years, you could only imagine the fuck shit he did in his time. He was a foul boy. He definitely sent a lot of us away. Just like the guy that sent your boy away for 70 years for spitting on a cop. Same shit. Oh, look at this. Somebody got they
thing. At 6 from Elmore County to now. The sentence has been reduced for a man convicted of a 2018 murder, armed robbery, and theft. Today, Judge Sibley Reynolds resentenced Lakeith Smith to 30 years. His original sentence was 65 years.
Look at this.
Smith in 2015 was one of 5 teenagers who police say were involved in a crime spree that started in Montgomery and ended with the breaking and entering of a Millbrook home, then a shootout with police. His attorneys said they are not done with Lakeith's case.
What we plan on doing and what we need to do,
y'all got uphill battle when you're dealing with that
conviction and appeal the sentence. We think they were both done in injustice. And so that's our next step. There's been a grave miscarriage of justice as far as Lakeith is concerned. He should be home right now. And the fact that he isn't is a shame.
I still don't feel like I heard any kind of acknowledgement or...
Shut the fuck up. I don't hear nothing from nobody. Since 30 years. So yeah, that's all I had to talk about really today. This dude, Sibley Reynolds, piece of shit, fake ass judge. He shouldn't have never been a judge. He's a racist piece of shit, biased asshole. And he got exposed, but unfortunately it's after he got out of off the bench. So sad situation, you feel me? But it is what it ain't, and we gonna figure out. We gonna get to the bottom of all his cases. A lot of people, everybody that ever had to deal with him, hopefully they get their appeal on, and they get reduced sentences, because this motherfucker was a scumbag off the bat. Everybody know that's obvious.